Hey, it's Omar McCallop, and this is another episode of Ask a Lender podcast. And I'm here today with my special guest, Amanda. How you doing, Amanda?
Doing great. How are
Good.
you?
I'm good. I'm wonderful. It is what are we, like springtime, I guess?
Yeah.
And yesterday it was warm, so I put shorts on, and today it's cold.
It is.
So a
Yeah.
lot of people are going to be sniffling around. So we're going to jump right into it. Amanda, what firm, what company are you with?
So I own my own firm,
Okay.
Fulford International Real Estate.
Wow.
I'm also partnered with EXP Realty.
Okay.
They're a really large brand, so I'm able to use a lot of their tools and resources, but I
Right.
can still brand myself.
Right. That's good. I know a good amount of people like ESP because it gives you flexibility to do what you need to do, but at the same time, taking care of some of the, from what I understand from the outside looking in, some of the responsibilities. So it lets you be free now. Is EXP your big or are you your own? How does that work?
So kind of both. I'm dual affiliated. So I am the broker owner of Fulford International Real Estate.
Okay.
I'm the broker in charge of that firm, but I also have a BIC at EXP as well.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So now you got like dual coverage to make sure
Yeah.
everything's cool. So we talk about a lot what type of home. I always talk about like as a real estate agent, former real estate agent myself, one of the first things that you try to do once you get out is find a home, right?
Mhm.
So how is that? And you're your kind of your own home, so I guess that doesn't really apply to you. But when you first started, did you like big firms, small firms, or did you come right out and go into your own?
Yeah, so when I first started, I did join a big firm
Mhm.
to get training and resources.
Right.
I didn't know anything about real estate. I have a hospitality customer service background, so I'm good with working with people.
That's good.
But I wasn't familiar with houses or contracts. Real estate school teaches you to stay out of trouble, but it doesn't teach you how to sell a house.
Right,
So,
right, absolutely.
so I did join a pretty big firm to help me, show me the ropes a little bit.
Okay.
But I think ultimately people do business with you.
Absolutely, without question.
Yeah, so I think really getting involved with somebody that's able to hold your hand through the process is important. But at the end of the day, people do business with people they know, like, and trust.
Yeah, I think that's number one, and that goes to a business across the board. No matter what type of business it is, it always comes down to the personal relationship and who people feel comfortable with, especially when you get to the point of, probably the most important purchase of your life. So you're
Absolutely.
definitely gonna make those decisions with someone you feel comfortable with, someone you trust. So jumping a little bit ahead, tell me, what was your inkling, desire, what have you? How did you first get into or make the decision to get into real estate? I guess leaving the hospitality background.
So it was, I just kind of went out on a whim. I was talking to my brother.
That's brave.
Yeah. I was talking to my brother. My brother, he's always been in sales. And someone approached him and said, hey, like, I think you should try real estate. And he's like, man, I'm too busy for that stuff. Talk to my sister. And like I said, I mean, I was doing really well previously. And real estate hadn't crossed my mind until he brought it up. And I was like, you know what? Like, I will try real estate. And so I went ahead and got licensed. I've been licensed for about 6 years now.
Oh wow!
And yeah, it's been a journey.
That's about the same time I got my license, but you lasted long enough.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey, but I'm glad I made this step.
Okay. So I ask people, you have your own firm, so it's kind of a in between question. But tell us what's different about what do you love about. I guess the thing that you love about your firm is your firm, right?
Yeah.
But what makes your firm different? What do you love about being there and operating?
So I do love that it's mine and I can do my own thing. Like I said, I've partnered with EXP because I don't have the liability of working or, of having other agents under me. I do train other agents through EXP. I'm a certified mentor.
Oh, wow.
And I do enjoy doing that. But especially when you're training new agents, it's just a lot of liability and responsibility. So I just help train them to build their own empire.
Gotcha.
So that's what I love, that they have so many tools and resources. A lot of agents have struggled the last couple of years with the shifting market. And we just have an amazing support system, a lot of tools, a CRM, like just lead gen. There's just so many things that they have to help our agents be successful. And I just brand Fulford International to expand on what they already offer.
Okay. So I haven't spoken to anyone that is a training manager, I guess, or what have you. So when you do, take us through what that looks like a day in that. And my question, in addition to that, is um, when you train those people, do they go back into EXP, or do they come to your firm, or how does that work when you train a person, or when you train an agent?
Sure. So most of them are affiliated with EXP. I have helped agents with other brokerages as well. So they just use me as a somebody to kind of guide their steps.
Gotcha.
So while they're running their own business, I'm showing them what our contracts look like, how to negotiate, how to find clients, what do you say to them,
Oh wow.
and things like that to help them be successful. To when you first get started, you're like, okay, like what do I do?
Right.
Like now what? I have a like, well, now what?
Right.
So I kind of help them guide that,
Okay.
and really teach people to serve and not sell. People don't like being sold.
Right. Oh, that's good though. Serve and not sell.
Yeah.
That's a T-shirt.
Right.
Yeah,
It
you should
should
put
be.
it on a T-shirt.
Yep.
Serve and not sell. I like
That's
that.
right. And I think especially when you're new and, if you're struggling financially, like you want to sell, like you're hungry for a sale. But if you do right by people, then the sales come.
Absolutely. And I think that is one of the things that I don't want to say it's left the industry, but it could certainly be highlighted more, both on the real estate side and the lending side. I bump into that sometimes where I'll see lenders, a person I was talking about that today with another agent. I'll see lenders and a person will come in and they'll put their stuff. They'll fill out the application, and they don't fit in this nice little box. And I hear people complain that they never hear from the lender again. And I just think that's I've never done that. That's never been my philosophy. I always say, well, if a person has a desire, right, to own a home and to build equity, then where there's a will, there's a way.
That's
Just
right.
because they don't fit into that box right then doesn't mean that 2 months from now, 3 months from now, they can't fit into the what we need as lenders, and get a pre-approval for a loan. So you want to serve the person, not sell to the person. And I think that's why I like being on the lender side, being a former agent, because my approach is different from just because I see that all the time, and people call me and they say, "Hey, I talked to a lender, but I gave him my stuff and I never heard from him again, and I don't know why." I said, "Well, because you got some work to do,
Right.
and that's okay that you have some work to do. None of us are going to be perfect in that space." But yeah, that goes back to that. So with your firm, you've been 6 years. That's a while. You've been in the game for a minute, and you survived the game, right? Because there's a ton of agents all over. Yeah, well, some fell off, right? But there's a lot still here, and I expect more with the new rulings and the things that are changing in the business. So, um, does that concern you as far as like what's your strategy and style as far as being able to stay and continue to be as strong as you have been over the years?
Yeah, so I think regardless of the shifting market, my strategy, I guess, is just to navigate shift with the market.
Right.
When things
Be
change.
fluid.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. When things change, you have to change too. So we do have a lot of older agents that are stuck in, cold calling and
No social
door
media.
knocking. Yeah, won't do social media and things like that. And at first I wasn't the biggest fan of social media either, but I think it's important if that's where people are, you have to go where the people are.
Absolutely.
So really just adjusting, and not being afraid to go out and get it. This is my full-time job. I don't have anything else. So this is my bread and butter. So whatever it takes, just to keep making the calls, be involved in the community, and again, be a resource. It might not be a sale today or tomorrow, but just be a resource and people will come to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what I like this question because a lot of people um, are trying to wait on interest rates, or they're waiting on this, or they're waiting on that. What do you say to people when it's like, well, I'm going to buy later versus buy now?
I think there's never a wrong time to buy the right house.
Right. Oh,
Um,
see, you're full of t-shirt quotes. You're full of we're gonna partner and do a t-shirt business.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But no, I think there's never a wrong time to buy the right house. Certainly, everybody can't buy a house right now,
Right.
and I'm not a high pressure salesman. I do, look at
Serve, not sell.
That's right. So it may not be the perfect time for you right now. You might have to work on your credit or saving for a down payment. There are resources obviously available
Sure.
to assist with down payment, and there's plenty of even free resources to help with credit repair. But I think if you're in an opportunity to buy, then it's always a good time. You could potentially refinance later. Right now, a lot of rental companies are requiring you to have a 650 credit score.
Oh, really?
They're requiring you to
Wow.
make 3 times
For
the rent.
rental?
Yeah, and the
I don't
rent's
do anything with rentals. Wow, I didn't know that.
yeah,
Oh
and
my
the rent's
goodness.
$2,000 a month.
Oh,
So if you
God.
have to do all these things anyway, I definitely think that considering buying a home is not a bad thing, not anything to be afraid of.
Yeah, let me look in the camera and say buy. Buy. Do whatever you can do to buy. And like you said, it may not work out. But if you can't buy right now, that's understandable. It happens to tons of people. So there's no shame or nothing negative about not being able to buy. The key is get on a path to buy. Connect with Amanda or your favorite real estate agent, and get with the lender, preferably me,
That's
and
right.
get on a path though. Get on hey, this is what we're going to do over the next 2 or 3 months, or 6 months, or however long it takes. I know you probably have the same philosophy. If you're a client of mine, you're a client until we complete, until we
That's
get
right.
to the finish line. And yeah, man, I can't. $650 for you might as well buy.
That's right. Yep.
I didn't know that. I'm not in the rental. Obviously, I'm not in the rental space at all as a lender. But gracious.
Yeah, so I have people that want to rent because they're afraid of buying. They're afraid of a 30-year commitment, and that's another thing that I like to share with
Right,
people. That
right.
most people stay in their house for about 5 to 7 years. So don't think that you have to stay there for 30 years.
No.
Don't let that scare you or keep you from buying.
Right.
And like you were just saying, it's never too early to have that conversation.
Yeah.
If you've thought about buying, maybe you're not ready yet, but we're here for you. We want to help, create that path to success for you to become a homeowner.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, when you buy your house, and yes, it's a 30 or 25-year loan, you're not sitting around thinking about like, oh my God, I got to be here for 25 or 30 years. We're in a very transaction-based market. If you decide that you need to leave in 4 or 5, I mean, equity is probably, depending on where you are, it's probably about 5 years, I would say, at the least, before you build some solid equity. But in our area, in the Triangle area, man, that equity is jumping. I know I bought my house. I've been in my house about 8 years, and my value is almost double. So I'm super happy about that. Not happy about the increase in tax, but
you got to take the good with the bad.
Right. But yeah, that's a good thing to talk about. People being fearful and concerned, and that's one of the reasons why we do this podcast, because we want to have open conversations. We want to answer questions. We want to demystify the whole agent side and the lender side. It's just a process, right? It's just a process. It's just numbers. It's nothing to be afraid of, but we have to have the conversations and, unhide the 8 ball. I think not as much as in real estate, but in lending, there's a lot of 8 ball hiding. So I think that you have to find somebody that you trust, that you're comfortable with, that's willing to just be upfront with you and say, hey, here, this is what it is, in black and white, up and down. You may not like it, but at least you will have the information that you need in order to move forward. Because if you don't have the information and knowledge, you can't move forward. So, and that's one of the reasons why we do this show. And while I'm on it, if you have any questions or you want to write us, it's askalenderpodcast@gmail.com. That's askalenderpodcast@gmail.com. That's how we get the questions, and we can answer questions. Or if I don't know the answer, or I can't get to the person that knows the answer, we'll figure them out one way or the other. So to jump off a little bit, We know real estate agents are 24/7, right? Anytime that phone rings or that text message comes, up in the middle of the night, whenever trying to respond, and and spouses and significant others probably don't like that so much. But I always say, what do you do like non-agent time for just to hang out or to have a good time? What's kind of like some fun stuff that you always try to encourage people to have that balance?
Yeah, so I'm a mom of two,
Oh, okay.
and
Ages?
so 3 and 10.
Oh my gosh.
So they,
Three.
yep,
Three.
3.
Oh my
So
goodness.
they're both fun, but I try to spend time with them whenever I
Absolutely.
can. I really like being outdoors in the summertime.
Oh
I
yeah.
like hanging out at the pool and having cookouts and having friends over. Um, we go hiking a lot. Spend
Okay.
a lot of time outside.
So what grade is 10 years old? I have
She's
a
in
15. Fourth grade. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So you have 2 girls.
I have 2 girls.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
I don't know. So I guess I can't ask you what's better, boys or girls, because you have 2 girls.
Yeah.
Do
I
you
don't
want
know.
a boy?
I wanted both of them to be boys, but God had other plans.
You just like none at all.
Yeah, but their ages are so spread out. Like I might be done. We'll see.
Right.
We'll
That's a
see.
nice gap. So what's that? 6, 7 years?
7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have one of each.
Mhm.
And I'm a dad, so me and my daughter are like
Hmm.
super, super close. So, but yeah, having one of each is fun. It's different. It's different. It's different. Just different dynamics, different relationships, and yeah, it's fun though. It's a good time. 3. So now my youngest is 15, and I have friends that have little ones, and they come over and hang out, and hang out at the house and play video games, and then I can send them back home.
That's right.
I can say, hey.
That's why I think I might be done.
Right. Come to Uncle O's house. You can have as much candy and soda and whatever you want in the pantry. Knock yourself out. All right, bye. See you later. Have fun. Go home.
That's right.
Oh, cool. So I always ask this question as well, and I know what mine was when I was an agent. Do you prefer buyer side or listing? Buyer's agent or listing?
You know what? I don't even know that I really have a favorite. Working with buyers, I probably work with a lot more buyers than I do sellers.
Okay.
The strategy is different. The process is different.
Absolutely.
I think working with sellers is more strategic, and working with buyers is a little more emotional.
That's a good way to put it.
But especially working with first-time home buyers, I think it's really rewarding.
Yeah.
And being able to help them, especially like I've had people walk into my office thinking that they were going to rent something, and they were able to buy and get something cheaper and
That's
cheap.
a life change.
Yeah, a single mom of 3 boys, and so it was just like that does my spirit a lot of good.
Oh yeah, that's big. That's big. So I get that answer, and I understand that, but I know it sounds like you like buyers a little bit more because you gotta like want a little bit more. A lot of agents come up here and you want to be PC. It's like no, I like them both. No. You gotta like want a little bit more than the other.
Yeah, I think maybe I do enjoy buyers. A little
the
bit
buyers
more.
make you happier because you're fulfilling a dream, so to speak. Especially when they didn't think they were going to be able to do it. That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. That's putting good out into the world, which we all should be doing. When I was an agent, I like. I guess I hope this doesn't make me a bad person, but I like the listing side. Partially, I think because my marketing background, because I'm marketing at home. I love to write up. I like selling the selling side of telling you how wonderful this house was. I bought my own drones because I like drones, and I would go fly and go over the house and make it all pretty and make it pop up and do so. That was more so that I could do that stuff, and it goes into my background. And plus, once I knew, for the most part, and especially in this market, if I had a listing, at some point I was going to sell it.
right.
With a buyer, sometimes you don't know.
It takes months, years
Yeah.
to find the right property.
You never know. You go show 23 properties, and it's like, I think we're going to go live with my cousin.
Yeah. And so that's kind of where my fine line is too.
Yeah,
so with the seller, with buyers, I have had buyers that I've worked with for 2 years before we closed, and I've never had a listing sit for 2 years. So
at least you closed, though. That's a long time. I've never had somebody go 2 years, and wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And they didn't get frustrated, and they just you
A
guys
little bit.
kind of cruised along, not cruised along, but
Yeah, they got a little bit frustrated, but I think, in the last 2 years, the market's shifted
it's
dramatically.
been 3 or 4 different markets in the last 2 years, I would say.
Yeah, so they were kind of still stuck on like pre-COVID prices and what that could
Right.
buy and trying to adjust and navigate
This is
that.
another look in the camera market. Those numbers that people that we used to love, those 3s and those 4s,
Mhm.
they're not coming back. I'm
Yeah.
not.
And finding the house with the 3-bed, 2-bath with the 2-car garage on a half acre
Yeah.
for 200,000.
Yeah, those numbers aren't coming back. We just have to, when I was an agent, I had people kind of waiting for the days of old. And I always say to people, technically, we are where we're supposed to be.
Right.
That time was an unusual time. That wasn't the standard. That was an unusual housing market in human history.
Absolutely.
So the rates and things that you see now are pretty much right where they're supposed to be. And I think that we have to educate people on that, because it's like, no, I want a 3 point.
Yeah,
Or
me too.
4. Yeah, well, I think I got one of those on my home like right before
Mhm.
it went out. And I'll get the refi stuff and all that stuff. I'm like, hey, listen, I just got in right before it went crazy. So, but if you didn't already get in, not gonna get it back. So, well, thank you for being here today. Is there anything? First of all, before I go into that, let our audience know how they can get up with you and how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Amanda the Realtor 123 on Facebook. Also, facebook.com/Fulford International, or you can email me directly at amandatherealtor1@gmail.com. And my phone number is 336-512-1389.
All right, thank you so much for being here today. Is there anything else that you would like for the audience to know about you personally and your company as an agent?
No, I don't think so. I do serve Eastern North Carolina, so pretty much from Raleigh to the coast. And I have partners everywhere internationally. So if you have a question about real estate, reach out.
There we go. So, outside of the real estate side, I always like to talk about lending a little bit, and sometimes I jump back into some of the past conversations that we've had about lending. I try to keep lending straightforward and to the point, so that everyone feels comfortable. The most important thing about lending that I would say is find somebody that you can connect with, that you can build a relationship with, and ask a lot of questions. Don't be afraid to ask a lot of questions. Don't allow whoever you're working with to skim over information. Get as much detail and as much information as you possibly can. Also, be open to the communication. Be open to figuring out the how. I think some people, like you said earlier, are concerned about long term, 30 years, or they're worried about their credit or their DTI or all those things. But we can't develop a working relationship, and we can't figure out solutions and how to strategize if we don't communicate, if we don't talk. So that's my advice to people. One, find someone that you feel comfortable with, you can have a conversation with. And at the end of the day, my philosophy is to over communicate. Over communicate with the agent, over communicate with the client. If the three of us as a team are over communicating, then that way nobody can be left in the dark. All right?
That's good.
All
Yeah.
right. So that's it for Ask a Lender podcast today. We'll see you guys next time.